and several teams are looking ahead to some rivalry games. And in the state of Arkansas, a historic weekend, not only for Arkansas, but Arkansas State as well. And we are so excited to welcome in the head coach of Arkansas State, Mr. Butch Jones. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Of course, we could talk all things SEC in the league and things of that nature, your history in the league as well. We'll get to that in just a second. But for you, Coach, how you feeling going into week 2? How are you on this Wednesday?
Well, it's a great challenge ahead, and obviously have a tremendous amount of respect for the SEC, know exactly what that entails when you play an SEC opponent. But Arkansas has done a really good job. A lot of people feel that they may be the most improved program in all the Southeastern Conference, and rightfully so. So everything is about our preparation, the great challenge. But here in the state of Arkansas, you're exactly right. It's monumental. Both institutions have never played before. So that's really kind of hard to believe, but these schools haven't played. And then we're going to play the game in Little Rock, which is the state capital of Arkansas. So again, it's going to be a great, event really for the entire state of Arkansas, and the two Division I FBS programs coming together to play. Maybe the only time this happens, who knows? So a great challenge that lies ahead of us.
Coach, for you start the season 1-0, you hang 42, coming off of a bowl win. You have to be feeling pretty good about where this program is at for you specifically. Before we really dive into playing Arkansas, just how are you feeling about your team, the Red Wolves, after this week 1 win?
Well, it's really been an unusual year for us. And I think if you watch the North Carolina game, and Kirk Herbstreit kept bringing up about Coach Belichick and 70-plus players on their program and getting them ready to play. Well, actually at Arkansas State, we're at 72. And so this is kind of the new age of college football, 72 newcomers. So we have spent so much time on just connection as a football program, really defining our style of play, our toughness, and really kind of fighting for our culture every day. And our older players have done a good job with that, but this is kind of the new age of college football that we're in. So this will be the first road test for us going on the road, and of a travel party of about 80, 55 of them will be making their first trip as Red Wolves going on the road.
You have a lot of new players, Coach, but one of them is back, and he's one of your big playmakers, and Jalen Rayner. From the time that he had last year and what you've seen of him early on, what are some of the biggest ways that he's made that jump, and some of the things you expect him to do so on Saturday and throughout the rest of the season?
Well, he has really had a great offseason, and we talk about the new age of college football. He'll be a 3-year starter for us, and that's really unheard of in today's world of college football. And he's continued to get better. You know, he's been able to go to the Manning Passing Academy now for 2 years. He's really developed quite a relationship with John Gruden. So we've tried to really place people around him for him to continue to grow and elevate his play. And we've been able to see that. And obviously last week, he was our playmaker. He put the ball in play. We've talked about him about being able to make the routine plays routinely, and he was able to do that Saturday, and he's really done that throughout the course of our entire training camp as well.
Coach, when you talk about just how much you've had to really just reinvent your roster, how much of that is due to having success here in Mobile last December, or when that was, to be on national television, to beat Bowling Green, much to the unhappiness of some of the alums? That's all I'm going to say about that. How much does that, just having that sort of spotlight, kind of a great thing for the program, but also maybe not so great for all of these people that are going to cherry pick your guys at the P4 level?
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You want to go there. You want to have success. Obviously, winning a bowl game, winning 8 games. It was the 3rd highest win total we've had in our 33-year history of being an FBS program. So we've come a long way, and we've really worked hard to really put our culture. Now you have to rebuild it. But anytime you can have a bowl victory, I think that really helps in recruiting. And it's hard to have momentum when you lose as many individuals that we have. But I still think you can have momentum, and being in Mobile and that experience, I really think propelled and elevated our program.
Did Mardi Gras propel and elevate your program and getting to experience some of that?
It was good. When we talk about Bowling Green, it was really a unique deal for us.
You gotta bring that back up, Coach. I mean, come on now.
I have to, but the director of athletics is an individual who was instrumental me in getting my
Yep.
first head coaching job at Central Michigan.
Yep.
And he's the director of athletics at Bowling Green, and Derek Vandermeer and Scott Leffler, who now is the quarterback coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Him and I
Pretty
go
good
way
job.
back
Yeah.
to his time at the University of Michigan. So to be able to reconnect with some old friendships, that was great. And then the great thing is we have bragging rights on the Falcons, so it was good.
Listen. I'm wounded. I'm wounded, Coach. Come on now. Thrilled for you. Thrilled for you to have come down here and had success. You have built something that is really, really something to be proud of there at Arkansas State. But none of it should come to surprise if you just look at what it is that you've done in your career. And you've really, really done impressive things all throughout your tenure, Coach, not only at the Group of 5 level, but also in the Power 5. You've been in the SEC, of course. You're at Tennessee. You were there with Nick Saban at Alabama. When you look back on your career and you think about kind of this historic game for you personally speaking, for Arkansas State to go play Arkansas, first ever to do it, you're really, really proud of what's going on in Jonesboro. How grateful and excited are you personally, and where does this rank in terms of what you've experienced in your past?
Well, really grateful for the have the opportunity, but really more excited for this fan base. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that have really made this a reality, and this has been more than probably 7 years in the making, and really for a number of years of being able to make that happen. So we have a big event at the governor's mansion on Friday night. And so I think it's really, really good for the state of football. When you really look at the landscape, everything is about conference expansion, and natural rivalries have kind of been a thing of the past. And for us to really come together in the state capitol and play, obviously we're like a 23-point underdog, so we're going to have to play really well. But just I think the opportunity to compete on that stage, and it's really healthy for the entire game of football.
Looking up and down your roster, looking up and down the Razorbacks roster, it's really interesting because there's a lot of players from a lot of different places, Texas and Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, not a lot of native Arkansas guys on both these rosters. What will be some of the things that you'll do to let them know just how important this is to the fans? I know that they'll be able to, as you said, be able to go to the governor's mansion and things like that, but understanding how just rare of a situation this is to not be playing in Jonesboro, not in Fayetteville, but in a place that means so much to the people there.
Well, that's a really good question. I think that's one of the challenges, of being here is you're going to have to venture in other territories for recruiting and for your program. But for the players that we do have from the state of Arkansas, I know it's very special for them, but they understand what's at stake. And, as a coach, we always talk about the next game being the most important game, and that's really what it is. When you look at college football, every game counts. I think that's what makes us different is, every regular season game matters. So when you only have 12 guaranteed opportunities, everyone is vital and critical. And this is the next one on our schedule, and it's big, but they understand what this game represents and what it's about.
Coach, I'm some of the memorabilia there in your office, representative of your time in the SEC. Of course, Nick Saban in a game between Alabama and Clemson. When you think back to your time in the league, how special? Of course, the SEC is special. We all know that. But from just the standpoint of what this conference brings to the sport. And I see you shaking your head. Knoxville, you were there at Tennessee. I mean, there were some really great moments, and then there was a great moment when you went back there and you won in a different color, and that was, a historic moment. I just remember so vividly. What did that feel like, and what was it like to coach in this league and to now be going up against a team in this league in Arkansas and Sam Pittman?
Well, I think, the SEC motto, it just means more, and it really does just mean more. And you really don't understand unless you played or coached in that league. And every single day it's 4th and 1 for the national championship, and anyone and everyone is good. And I think that's the thing is you're playing against the best of the best each and every year and each and every game. And so I think you just look at last week in the SEC and you look at it and it's just a whole different speed level. It's a different size level. And that's when I look at this Arkansas team is they've really built it for SEC play. When you look at it, for us, it's hard to simulate not only the speed of the game, but the size of the game. We have to work on blocking a 370-pound nose guard. We don't have a 370-pound player in our program. So, you're looking at someone who's has great gratitude towards being 8 years in the SEC. It's a challenge each and every day. I think all you have to do is watch the SEC Netflix, and you kind of see the daily stresses that go through the life of a head coach. But I wouldn't change it. I love my 8 years, and my goal is maybe one day to get back to the Southeastern Conference. And then, when you have the ability to go to Tuscaloosa and spend 3 years with Nick Saban and obviously a year and a half and a special assistant to the head coach role, I wouldn't trade those years, particularly that year and a half, just being behind the scenes. And we always talked about the Bama way, but there's a lot of things when other coaches go be head coaches, they just do it. And you ask them, well, why are you doing it? Well, that's what we did at Bama.
Yeah,
I was able
I
to
love that.
understand the whys of how we did it, how we did things. And then, obviously just a tremendous amount of respect. And I know what this weekend's all about.
Yeah, Coach, you were talking about speed, quickness, and right on cue when you were in that video running through there in Knoxville at practice. I'm just wondering what your speed and quickness looks like, right now compared to that time.
Well, I've tried to stay on top of that, and I think that's the thing is you have to constantly reinvent yourself each and every year.
Yeah.
And so when you have 72 new players, you have to be filled with energy, and you got to kind of set the standard on and off the field, and we've been able to do that here as well.
Listen, it's a rare opportunity, not rare, but it's a great opportunity, I should say, for us to be able to chat with you. So I can't let you go without at least asking, because you just alluded to the greatness that's occurred in Alabama and Tuscaloosa under Nick Saban, and Kalen DeBoer has done some really, really great things in his career. And I think you're right now trying to figure out in the changing landscape of sport, what does that look like in Tuscaloosa now? And when you watched Alabama after this week one, if you had a chance to watch it, any takeaways on just maybe the Tide or where they're at, and maybe just this conference right now and where the SEC is in relation to the greater whole of college football?
Well, we were in pregame, so I wasn't able to
We
really
have
see
DVR,
much of the
Coach.
game.
Come on now. Come on.
Yeah,
Listen. I ain't trying
no-
to. You watched every snap. Don't even try. At some point that night, you watched every snap.
But I will tell you this, I have a lot of close friends on the staff. Robert Gillespie was our running back coach at Tennessee. Bob Weldon ran recruiting for us at Tennessee. Obviously, a lot of great friends that are still there, Jeff Allen. And I understand that, they're going through a transition, and they're still a really, really extremely talented football team. Coach DeBoer has won everywhere he's been. I expect him to continue to win. And you're just going through a process. And I think that's the biggest thing is each game is like a chapter in the book. And you can't really judge the book until all the chapters are written. And so they still have a long ways to go, but a tremendous amount of respect, a lot of friends in Tuscaloosa, still a lot of great friends in Knoxville, and just, a tremendous amount of respect for the SEC conference in general.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Coach, I got a chance to see you down here for the Senior Bowl. And one of the things that you were talking about was how Arkansas State can be a propeller to the NFL, just like all these Power 4 institutions. How important is a game like this for you to just continue to reinforce that message that, hey, we can play with the best of the best, both individually and in games?
Well, I think it's big, and anytime you get an opportunity to compete, and then, when you talk about taking the next step with your program, we had 4 players from last year's team make NFL rosters. And so we talk about NFL development and NFL ready, and we want players that dream to play at the next level. And now we've been able to do that, placing 4 individuals in the National Football League, and really proud of them. And kind of now it's a great illustration when you have 4 of your current members of your program now make NFL rosters. I think it just brings credibility and credence to what you're telling prospective student athletes in your current team as well.
That's what I was going to ask, Coach. How much is that something you can kind of hang your hat on in recruiting and to say, hey, here's the proof is in the pudding. This is not something that we're not trying to sell you on a dream. We're selling you on something that we can show you is reality.
Absolutely. And you look at all of our stops from Central Michigan, we had 12 individuals. A lot of people don't realize this. Our first recruiting class at Central Michigan was comprised of J.J. Watt and Antonio Brown. And, Nick Ballore, I think, is still going. I think he's on his 14th year as a captain of the Washington Commanders. So we still have players from that Central Michigan team still playing. Then obviously everyone knows about the Kelsey brothers and Travis and a lot of these individuals that are still having great years in the National Football League. And then obviously really excited for Trey Smith. very well deserved. He's one of my most favorite players we've ever recruited and coached. And to be able for him to sign that contract and see him having the success that he's having, and all of our players, I believe we have about 68 current players in the National Football League now with our 4 stops. So you become really friends of, fans of them, not necessarily fans of the teams, but excited that they're all succeeding at a very high level.
Yeah, Coach, you're also succeeding at a high level, and I cannot say that I'm surprised. Tremendously happy for you, for all of your success there at Arkansas State, and looking forward to what it looks like as we roll into week 2 and beyond of the college football season. Would love to have you back on Southeast Sports Plus over the next few weeks at some point, and wishing you the very, very best in this huge, historic game there against Arkansas.
Well, really appreciate the opportunity. Anytime you want to talk football, let me know, and love to be on and talk football.
You already know it, Coach.
Awesome.
Butch Jones, appreciate your time, sir. Have a great Wednesday.
Wolves up. Thank you.
Love it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Good stuff. Butch Jones, a guy who, we just saw him at Sunbelt Media Days there in New Orleans.
Yep.
And you can just tell you from experience, having helped the Sunbelt and with some of the head coach interviews that they've done the last 5 years, he has just transformed himself in that league. I mean, this is a guy who's won in the MAC. He's won big games in the SEC, and now reinventing kind of what he is all about there in the Sun Belt. And, man, that is a league that will quickly put coaches right back into the P4, either back in the P4 or in the P4 for the first time. And I do not be surprised if Butch Jones is back in a P4 situation very, very quickly.
No question. I mean, he has the results right now of the guy that is doing P4 stuff. And think about all the guys he's been able to recruit. I mean, he rattled off a few of them. One of the greatest tight ends of all time, and Travis Kelce, played for him there at Cincinnati. And then you had other players as well. So not only can he recruit, but he can relay his message. And as you said, he has rubbed shoulders with the best of the best in the college football game. He knows Bill Belichick and guys that are in the NFL as well. He has a litany, a pool of knowledge. And he's still young enough and vibrant enough and energetic enough to still have that and still carry it on. So it's really good to see.
Yeah, and have a good time with us. And
100%.
so listen, we appreciate that, Coach. Always really, really bringing great content and a great personality, great atmosphere every single time we chat with him. So good stuff there. Butch Jones, the head coach of Arkansas State, who will play in a historic game this weekend against Arkansas. That game's going to be in Little Rock. So looking forward to that. 28-point underdog. Listen, it's college football. There's more parity than there's ever been. You never know what you never know. You never know what you can see.
You don't, especially in these kind of games. As he said, first time ever. So, I mean, these guys have not played on the field with one another. And you can make an argument that the most experienced quarterback in this football game is John Mateer. Oh, sorry, not John Mateer. It's Jalen Raynor.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
It's Jalen Raynor going into this matchup.
You're right, absolutely. And all it takes is a little bit of confidence and some things, the ball roll your way. So we will soon find out. Good stuff. Butch Jones, appreciate his time joining Southeast Sports Plus.